Vice Chancellor, faculty, council represented here, administrative staff, students, graduates, family, friends, sponsors. I am a woman in gratitude, in deep, very deep gratitude for the privilege, the honor which I had to serve this institution for the last 20 years. For some of you, you might not have a sense of what the 20 years mean. But when you are at my age, you count every day as a blessing. And you give value to what you learn, what you absorb, what enriches you. You don't take life for granted anymore. So I've been thinking, reflecting on how this institution has enriched me, how it made me a more humane human being. I'm not leaving UCT. I'm taking UCT with me. Because what have been lessons of life to transform me as a human being, it is going to be inside me and to guide the rest of my life. 1999, when Mampila, Dr. Rampeli Mampila, became the first woman, black woman, to be the Vice Chancellor of this institution. And soon after, I was asked to take up the position of Chancellor. We became, in this country, in fact, on the continent, the first institution to have 2 black women at the helm of a tertiary institution. I'm mentioning this not to say that we are exceptional. I'm mentioning this to say this institution has taken upon itself the responsibility to reflect the transformation required to a South Africa which was coming out of the traumatic experience of apartheid. And having 2 women, first women, and 2 black women at the helm of institution, it was a strong message to say this institution cannot be the same anymore. I'm reflecting on how much we have managed to transform as deep as we would have wanted. And with humility, I have to say, I learned also that transformation is extremely complex. Transformation, it's a long process which will never be complete. So we can count that we have amongst our students the diversity which we have achieved. And perhaps I should remind some of you who do not know. Dr. Rampeli Mampila had to establish what was called the breeding courses at this university to make sure that students coming from the Eastern Cape from our townships here, students who had never been in a library. They had to be guided to go to the library of UCT and to know how do you look for information, how do you organize your studies using a library. We had students who hardly could articulate properly their thinking in English, and they had to be guided in English lessons just to know how you express yourself and how do you write complete and clear sentence. We had students who were extremely weak in maths, so they would never be able to take engineering, they would never be able to take medicine, they would not be able to take even, business lectures. It was important to build at least in these three things: English, maths, and how to use a library. That's how we started. And this morning, I was sitting there. I was looking at the faces of the people who graduated in health science, those who did honors, masters, PhDs, and I could see the transformation, at least at the level of students and graduates, which we have achieved. The diversity in gender, diversity in background, because I can understand the names of who is graduating. The diversity, even in terms of age. They were very young, some of them. And I was imagining 20 years back, where were they? Who they were to be now graduating. And more importantly, it was one of the graduations with the most distinctions I have presided over. That is the present UCT is offering me in my time of taking you along with me. I think we still have a long way to go when it comes to faculty. Quite understandably, those brilliant minds who completed their PhDs, they are the first generation in their families to achieve that level. They're still struggling to have a host of younger brothers and sisters to educate. And they weigh between being an academic or going to business sector because of their social responsibilities. And of course, private sector pays better than academics, right? And we struggle still to attract the best of minds to remain with us as academics. We still struggle as well because, be aware, for you to become a professor, ask them how many years it has taken you. 15, 20 years, right? It requires focus. It requires dedication. It really requires an option of life to become an academic. So I know everyone complains that, oh, we have not been doing enough. Yes, we haven't. But I have to say, for UCT to remain, after freedom, to remain the very best university in Africa, the best amongst the 20 best universities in the world, it means to know how to navigate transformation without compromising quality and excellence. And it is this faculty which has managed that. For me, what is important is that our faculty has managed to nurture the diversity of young Africans, South Africans' minds to take up the challenge, regardless of being, the majority, the color you have. What you have is the commitment to build this nation, to build this continent, to use your knowledge and expertise to make the transformation happen. And I want to say, I am at peace because I am aware the transformation has its own demands and it takes time. This was, if I address the students, it started here when students said roads must fall, and then the fees must fall movement, decolonization of education. It started in this university. That means UCT still leads in minds and action when it comes to transformation. Yes, we could have done also much better with the issues of gender-based violence. I take with me in my conscience a heavy, heavy responsibility that the face which has transformed into the symbol of gender-based violence with Uyinene, it is our child at this university. The message was not that we are worse than anyone else. The message was UCT has to lead as well in how to educate young people, our young students. Not only to be brilliant in the way they learn and they research, but to question themselves in the way they develop a relationship with others, particularly relationships with the young men and young women. Uyinene was not murdered inside the campus. This is a societal problem. But the fact that she was one of our own, it was to leave that responsibility to say we have to take up the transformation of relations between men and women, which is a global challenge. And that is a global challenge which UCT is called to continue to lead. And now I come to say, I said I'm taking UCT with me. But because Uyinene is my grandchild, and it was down there, we all pledged to do something. I am here. I'm not going to leave whenever I'm required to give a bit of my contribution, particularly with young people, to say, how do we accept one another? How do we respect women? How do we protect women? That is the challenge of internal transformation which goes beyond institutions, which goes beyond the numbers which we are talking about when we talk of transformation. It requires transformation from inside of each one of us. And it's a long, very long process. UCT community, I can smile at the day where I am handing over the chair of chancellor. As we started 20 years ago, Dr. Mampila and myself, today with highly qualified, extraordinary dynamic, exceptionally brilliant young women, 2 young women, 20 years later. Precious Molloy, Professor Pakeng, are at the helm of this institution. What else could I wish for? So I smile. I'm smiling. It is a kind of a cycle which we started, and we are setting. I know there are other universities which also have chancellors and vice chancellors who are women, but we were the first. And not only we are the first, we are renewing the commitment when we give it to these young women to say, this is a university which will continue to be the best, not only in learning and research, but more importantly, in making this institution serve and serve better our nation, serve and serve better Africa, serve and be the face and voice of a tertiary institution globally. When they want to know what Africa can produce, they look at UCT. That is what we want to continue to be, and we are absolutely sure at the helm of this institution with the 2 young women who are leading it, and with this quality of the faculty, with what we are going to hear here as graduations who are coming, there's no doubt we still have challenges, but we are absolutely at the right direction. Thank you for having enriched me and have made of me a better human being, a much humble human being.